Hey guys, it's Lori, pharmacist. Have some interesting things I wanted to talk to you about regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. And what, interestingly enough, Journal of American Medicine and another news outlet I found on accident really, called Chemical and Engineering News, sorry. Anyway, so Tuesday, I spoke at a pharmacy in Jacksonville on, of all things, vaccines. And you might think, what pharmacy on the planet would ask you to speak about vaccines, especially knowing what I have to say, right? But anyway, this is the coolest pharmacy. It's been around since 1967. Actually, they have the same last name as me, Wise, but it is spelled differently. They spell it W-E-I-S-E because it's the German spelling. They're from Germany. Anyway, the gentleman that owns this pharmacy actually knew my dad before they went to pharmacy school. It's a pretty cool story. And he's 86 years old, healthy as can be, sharp as a tack, and it's called Wise Prescription Shop and Natural Food Shop. I know this is going to come up backwards. They do have a Facebook page. I will put it in the link. If you are in the Jacksonville area, I would highly recommend you check out this pharmacy because it is so cool. It is such a different layout, and it's about healing and promoting health as opposed to what most pharmacies do, which only push drugs and vaccines, that kind of thing. They do compounding. They have CBD products. His son actually runs the pharmacy part that does the drug dispensing and the compounding, and then he does independent consultations with patients, and is just really a cool experience. But in preparing for what I was going to talk about, and he specifically wanted me to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine, in addition to the flu shot, the shingles shot, and also pulled in the pneumonia shot. I was preparing a PowerPoint, and it got interesting. So I'm just going to read to you. Let's see if my computer will cooperate. If you're following the whole COVID-19 vaccine thing, there are 4 companies in the forerunner right now that are leading the pack. Moderna and Pfizer, and those are the 2 that have an mRNA vaccine, and then there's J&J and AstraZeneca, which both are using adenovirus vaccine, which adenovirus is can be caused by the common cold. It could be pink eye, pneumonia, that kind of thing. And these vaccines, the adenovirus, are being genetically modified in the lab. Well, so are the mRNA, but anyway, that's how they're tweaking them to be coronavirus vaccines. So Johnson & Johnson actually says of its vaccine, it's using older vaccine technology, the same that is used in RSV, which is a respiratory disease that children can get, and Ebola vaccines. However, the interesting thing is in that statement where it says the same vaccine technology as RSV, there is no RSV vaccine. The one RSV vaccine that they brought to market back in the 1960s, when it was actually injected into children, 80% of the children developed severe RSV and were hospitalized, and 2 of them died. Hey Lisa, how are you? Good to see you guys. So anyway, interesting that it's referring to a vaccine that doesn't exist as if that's something, we should all be comfortable with or happy about, whatever. But this is what JAMA, Journal of American Medicine, has to say about mRNA vaccine technology. It says, despite the unprecedented speed, mRNA vaccines are clinically unproven. Okay. No commercially available vaccines use the platform, and until now, it hasn't been tested in large-scale human trials. With COVID-19, that's all set to change. Experts said in interviews that if the technology pans out, the pandemic could help to usher in a new plug and play approach to vaccinology. You know, as I'm reading this and they use the term pan out, I'm like going, are they really talking about human lives here? Because we're talking about injecting humans with a vaccine that has been clinically unproven, a vaccine technology that's been clinically unproven, whatever that technology is. I mean, we all, if you follow, you know, there's real huge issues with the whole mRNA thing because of the fact that it's involved in genetic coding of DNA. And so, you know, the fear is it's potentially going to genetically modify humans, which I don't see how it cannot, just saying, but judging by the way it's made. But even for this Journal of American Medical Association, you know, one of the most highly respected medical association, you know, that prints articles about what's going on in the world of medicine, been around for bukus of years. I don't know, I haven't done that research. And yet they use the term pan out as if we're just talking about, well, you know, it just didn't pan out, whatever. But then to use the new plug and play approach. And so then I went into, what does plug and play even mean? And it all has to do with computer software and getting that computer to perform perfectly. And I thought, isn't that an interesting terminology to be using for something that potentially could genetically modify humans, which, you know, was really a form of eugenics, because it's like, oh, what are they thinking? Like maybe they can get rid of the lesser desirables or whatever it is they're thinking is going into this. But that this JAMA uses pans out and plug and play as their way of describing what is going on with this type of vaccine technology. I'm telling you, people, back to mRNA, this is just what it does. Specifically, in mRNA, it plays a vital role in human biology. This is actually off of Moderna's website. Specifically in a process known as protein synthesis. mRNA is a single-stranded molecule that carries genetic code from DNA in a cell's nucleus to ribosomes, the cell's protein-making machinery. Lovely. Okay. Then, as I said, the other two vaccine manufacturers, that's Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca, are using good old adenovirus technology. This is off of Chemical Engineering and News and what they have to say. Governments around the world are making a big bet, great, that the first vaccines for COVID-19 could be made with genetically engineered viruses. The engineered viruses, called adenoviral vectors, are designed to shuttle a gene from SARS-CoV-2, the novel coronavirus, that causes COVID-19 into our bodies, where our cells will read it and make coronavirus spike proteins. Okay, so we're going to imitate the SARS-CoV-2. Now let's remember in all this, and this is according to the CDC, this survival rate of the coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, is 99+% in every age group 0 to 69. Only in age group over 70 years of age is it only 94.6% survival rate. So still, you have over 94% if you're over 70. If you're anywhere from 0 to 69, the survival rate, that means you had it and you survived, is over 99%. So, but we're got to vaccinate everybody though, right, with a genetically engineered virus. And so then it goes on to say, as with all vaccines, keep this in mind, all vaccines, guys, the idea is to trick. Remember pharmakia, sorcery, witchcraft, spells, tricking is a form of deception. So we're going to trick our body into thinking it's been infected. Those self-made spike proteins would train, this is hoping everything goes right, would train our bodies to detect and terminate any real SARS-CoV-2 infections before the virus wreaks havoc. The virus, with a 99+% survival rate in the majority of all age groups. The technique has been in development for more than 3 decades. That would be more than 30 years. But thanks to COVID-19, it is about to be put to the test like never before. Then one other thing I'm going to add, and this is telling you how many vaccines out there have actually used this technology, because I think this is key. With mRNA, we have exactly 0. And with the adenovirus technology, here we go. Compared with some of the newer, and this is still chemical engineering news, compared with some of the newer experimental technologies, such as Moderna's mRNA, adenoviral vectors are touted as being more tried and true approach. J&J calls its adenoviral vector platform a proven, literally in quotes, proven technology. While adenoviral vectors have been tested in far more people than mRNA vaccines, the technology is used in only, wait for it, one. Used in only one commercial vaccine today. And this is the even more mind blower, if that's not enough. A rabies vaccine used to immunize wild animals. So far, no adenoviral vector vaccines have demonstrated they can prevent disease in humans. And there's your forerunners, people. Now, what gets even more fun as you dig into this and is the whole aborted fetal cell, aborted, immortalized fetal cell lines. Trump administration passed that we're not going to be using any new or developing new aborted fetal cell lines. But according to what I've been reading, there are plenty of immortalized aborted fetal cell lines out there that have been in use for decades, since the 1960s, and there's plenty of them. So we're good to go on that. But the whole thing of what does immortalized mean? Well, it means they never die, okay? So how do you get a cell line that never dies? Let me find this. This is where it really gets fun, because it talks about, where is this? Science Direct. Immortalized cell lines are cells that have been manipulated to proliferate indefinitely and can thus be cultured for long periods of time. Immortalized cell lines are derived from a variety of sources that have chromosomal abnormalities or mutations that permit them to continually divide, such as tumors. Maybe you already knew that. What they're doing, as near as I can tell, is it's been kind of tough to narrow it down. Some of the COVID-19 vaccines are either incorporating the immortalized fetal cell lines that have already been, that are already out there to use, or they're testing them in the immortalized fetal cell line. So immortalized fetal cell lines are either tumorous cells that do not stop dividing, or cells that have been artificially manipulated, kind of like genetically manipulated to proliferate indefinitely, and can thus be cultured over several generations. I haven't responded to this. There was a guy that, I don't even know which video it was because I've been really busy, but one that I posted on YouTube, this guy came back at me with all the, I don't know, I don't even remember what he said. I should have pulled it up since I'm referring to it, but it was basically very derogatory. Like Dr. Lori is advocating, potions or something like that. I can't remember what he said. And as I'm looking at what we're using, oh, by the way, AstraZeneca's adenovirus is from a chimpanzee. We've got vaccines that use monkey kidney cells, canine kidney cells, chick embryo. Turns out the shingles vaccine, the new Shingrix, uses Chinese hamster ovary cells and soap bark, the saponin from the soap bark tree. And I've read this comment and I'm thinking, wait a minute, who's dealing with the witch's brew here? And I even looked up witch's brew just as like hypothetical, because the thing about this witch's brew, and when we're talking about formaldehyde in some vaccines, which has data safety sheet that warns about ingesting and inhaling, but according to the CDC and the powers that be, it's okay to inject it in small quantities, even though cancer is hugely on the rise, has been for decades now. But anyway, back to witch's brew. Cambridge.org came up with this. I thought it was amazing. A mixture of unpleasant or dangerous things. Well, I can't think of anything much more unpleasant than animal kidney cells from different animals, hamster ovary cells, aborted fetal cells. Then we get mixing in formaldehyde, of course, good old polysorbate 80, which is used in foods and cosmetics, but no vaccine has ever been tested for carcinogenesis, the ability for it to cause cancer. And where we decided it was okay to start injecting things like polysorbate 80, I'm not really sure. I guess it's the same theory. Well, it's just a teeny bit amount, so we really don't have to worry. Anyway, I just wanted to jump on here, just let you guys know what some other, as a matter of fact, this chemical engineering news, the title of the article was Adenoviral Vectors Are the New COVID-19 Vaccine Frontrunners. Can they overcome their checkered past? Yesterday I got an email. It was a invitation to be a trial participant in a COVID-19 vaccine trial. Gonna pay $1,220. I'm thinking not. I definitely am not even tempted to sign up for that. But let's see. Also, I am working with a lot of different people now. So if you want to, you can check out my website. It's Thewisepharmacist.com. I'm working on launching Zoom calls, interactive Zoom calls for parents, and I haven't really figured out how to do this, launching online courses, because, here's the thing. Whenever you make a decision about something, you really need to know the whole truth about whatever it is you're making a decision about. I'm not here to tell you what to do, what to inject yourself with, what prescription drugs to take. I can only help give you the whole picture so that you can make an educated decision. And sadly, the doctors really don't know the skinny on a lot of this stuff. So many of the people that I've been working with counseling have misdiagnosed totally. And part of the problem with the pharmaceutical industry is that it's all about treating symptoms. They're not looking for the root cause of what could have caused your illness. What did you do to get here? I just got a notification that flashed up before I jumped on here live saying that, I think it's in Spain, they've discovered that like 80% of the people that have been hospitalized with COVID, the really sick ones, were vitamin D deficient. I'm sure they were some deficient on some other things too, but you can do blood work for vitamin D. And so back to the 99+% survival rate, it shows that the people that are being hospitalized and that are really having issues are the ones that have severe underlying conditions and their immune systems are really, really trashed. And we know they've got to be really trashed, because if 99% plus are surviving, I know the majority of the planet is not eating a plant-based diet and maybe even a little bit, cognizant of what healthy eating really means, let alone doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an interesting aside I wanted to bring in. But anyway, if you want to work with me, I will be more than happy. I have my rates on my website, but I'm just here to tell you I am not hard set. I would rather work with somebody and help them get well, help them understand what they're taking, what they're on, the potential downfalls, what their options are to help them improve and reverse disease. Because I can tell you in probably 90% of cases, just with lifestyle changes, maybe even more than that, it could be as high as 99, you can improve and reverse disease. And that, to me, is the direction our healthcare industry truly needs to be taking. Let's quit doing all this crap in labs and trying to mimic and trick the human body. We were designed to fight off viruses. We were designed, we were created with a strong immune system that has the ability, if we give our bodies what it needs, to fight this kind of stuff off. And we don't need to be injected with laboratory experiments hoping that it's going to pan out and that, is going to be some kind of plug and play in vaccinology. And that's going to somehow work out. That is literally computer terminology that they are applying to humans. And to me, that is really scary. So anyway, it's thewisepharmacist.com. You can email me, thewisepharmacist@gmail.com. I'm going to be sharing, I think I'm going to try to do like a promotional video for the Zoom calls. Because my idea is to get a group of parents on there that either want to discuss whatever age group for different vaccines, like 2, 4, and 6 months. It was actually on the CDC website, and I found something I'd never seen before where it's talking about vaccines, but it says one of the best ways to protect your child against vaccine preventable diseases. And I thought, well, what are the other ways there, CDC? If vaccination is one of the best ways, and ways is plural, and one is singular, let's discuss some of the other ways, okay? Because as we know, with everything, there's risk. Any medical procedure has risk. So I think enlightening parents into other ways is only fair, and also enlightening them into the prevalence of the disease that they're vaccinating for before we were vaccinating, which is what I've done extensive research on, weighs hugely too into a decision that people can make. What are the odds my child's going to contract it? What are the odds they're going to die? All right. So anyway, I kind of took a bunny trail there, but please share this with your friends. I want them to know and be able to talk intelligently about what is really going on with these COVID-19 vaccines, because the reality of it is a huge human experiment for a disease that has a pretty incredibly high survival rate. Okay, so love you guys, and if you have any questions, again, thewisepharmacist.com or thewisepharmacist@gmail.com, or you can send me a message through Facebook. Messenger gets a little bogged down, so hopefully I'll see it. All right, love you guys, and talk soon.